Hello. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Miranda Rose Show.
Woo.
I'm Miranda, and this is my friend Clarissa.
Hello.
The goal here is wholesomeness, femininity, health, and all the goodness of God. I hope you enjoy our second episode. Today's guest is my great friend, Clarissa Luna, who I almost called by her maiden name. Clarissa comes to the Miranda Rose Show with an amazing amount of entrepreneurial coalition building experience. She's hosted and managed events for high net worth investors, entrepreneurs, and U.S. MCs, both in the U.S. and around the world. She's done a lot of great work in countries like the UAE, Belize, Honduras, Guatemala, Nepal, and more. She has expensive experience. Maybe she has that too.
I'll take that.
She has extensive experience managing and hosting out-of-the-box events and experiences on a small and large scale. A champion for women, she organized entrepreneurship programs for women in the UAE and Turkey and successfully managed programs in Burkina Faso, Oman, Thailand, and Guam. So fun. She and her husband, Daniel, have been married for 3 years. They currently own and operate the Queen's Library Tea Room, which is where we're at right now. It's beautiful having tea. It's a really beautiful
I actually am going to have some tea.
building. And they also love to support causes through the tea room and serve in ministry together at their home church, which is Life Church, which is also my home church. And yeah, I have so many questions for her, but welcome to the show.
Thank you, Miranda.
I'm so excited to be talking with you. She's also one of my most bestest, most wonderful friends. So, but we're going to pretend like we're just professionals having a conversation. Okay. So let's talk first about how we met and how we get along now.
Okay.
So our churches used to do things together when we were younger.
Yes.
And we ended up at summer camp. That's where I first remember meeting you. And Clarissa had a raspy voice just like me. And lots of people said that we were twins. Like,
yes, all the time.
Personality-wise.
All the time.
So I had to know Clarissa because I was told she was fabulous like me. And
how old were we?
I met you at kids camp.
So like
I was like
8,
10.
10,
I
okay,
think.
10 years old. That is like 20 plus years of
That's before youth camp. So that
knowing
was
each
the
other.
real deal kids camp.
Yes.
Yes. And we've stayed in touch over the years. And now we live in the same building.
Yeah. It's like college all over again in your 30s.
Yes. And Clarissa and Daniel are our student pastors at Life Church. And Nathan and I serve in the worship team under that. And
which they do a fabulous job. It's been a beautiful journey and we love working with them. That's like a dream come true.
Thank you. It's a learning experience for us all.
Yes.
And my husband does work with the tea room.
Yes.
And we're all intertwined.
Yes.
If we ever broke up, we'd have to break up in a million areas because.
Yes. And if you would have told 10-year-old Miranda and Clarissa that, hey, one day you'll do life together and it'll look like this, I think we wouldn't even understood what we were saying.
And
it would have not made sense.
And we lived in different areas. So I've always been central to Richmond and she lived close to Virginia Beach.
Mm-hmm.
So we really wouldn't have been able to imagine that. Okay. So that is how we met, how we get along now. Clarissa, like I said, her and her husband are the children and student pastors of Life Church. We're also on the Millie's Home Board together.
Yes.
Which if you listen to my first episode with my mom, it's all about Millie's Home, a maternity home in Hanover County. And Clarissa's on the board because of course, her love for women, entrepreneurial spirit and gifts, so many reasons. But okay, let's just go back. So I'm starting earlier in your story. So it's not odd to me that you have a tea business because
that's good.
Because you worked at Starbucks. So in my mind, you're a drink girly, even if you didn't mean to be.
Yes.
Okay.
A barista at heart. Yes.
So you went to school.
Yes.
And in that time you worked at Starbucks, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what was your favorite drink at Starbucks?
The way to make a fancy drink cheaper. So I loved the iced coffee because it was quick and fast and easy, and then you could add whatever you wanted to it. So I picked the syrups based off the season. So right now it's definitely iced coffee with pumpkin and half, and that is just way cheaper than an iced pumpkin spice latte. and faster.
Were they doing cold brew when you worked there?
So I had a funny moment where during COVID, I was getting bored. I worked from home and I said, let me go back and work at Starbucks for a month. And they were doing cold brew. And I remember that. And I remember it giving me the shakes. So I was like, that is strong
You are sensitive
coffee.
to caffeine.
Yeah.
Yet she was in the coffee and now she's in tea.
Yeah. But when I went back for a month, I was like, I am not cut out for this. Because making cold brew is very hard. Making all the nice little foams that I also love, like the raspberry foams and the cold foams.
I do like the foams.
They're delicious, but it was a nightmare to make. So I only lasted a month and I quit. But still a barista at heart, I guess, no matter what. I always wanted to be around making drinks.
So I just tried a Instagram drink that I saw that's like less calories, but it was a grande shaken espresso, which is what I love. I think that's what Starbucks is good for, is their espresso in particular. And it was 1 pump of the cinnamon dolce syrup, which I think is sugar-free, and then 1 pump of the white mocha.
Oh, that's like Cinnamon Toast Crunch vibes.
Well, whatever it was great because it still has the mocha, so you still have a little bit of sugar, but it's like under 100 calories or something. And it was great. So I'm always just on the lookout for
And I know
drinks.
I support local coffee shops, but I do love Starbucks. I will always love Starbucks.
I go to both. I go to the local places to support the local places.
Yes.
And I try to find like my favorite drinks at the local places. And of course, like if we have similar values, I try to do all those things. But Starbucks espresso, they do something different. My husband told me it's because they burn their beans. They have like a signature taste. And I just can't get it anywhere else.
The other thing that Starbucks does that's I think most local coffee shops could take a note of.
Tell us.
Is you really should pour espresso shots under 10 seconds. If you don't, they turn into this sour note. So if you've ever had an espresso shot that's been sitting for more than 10 seconds, it's a dead shot is what they call it. And it makes it taste bitter, almost like if tea is oversteeped.
Yes.
So if you pour bitter shots into a drink, and sometimes that's why your Starbucks drink isn't great because the barista didn't.
I never
So
knew
yeah,
that.
so if you ever see
the
your
same if you make an espresso at home, because that's the Starbucks brand, and it's a shot from the Nespresso machine.
It could be, because if you have the crema, the cream, if you see that's going down and it's not a good shot anymore. So I think that's the secret to Starbucks. The other thing is the water.
Yes,
filtration.
You told me. They triple filter their water.
Yes, Starbucks triple filters their water, and that's why no matter where you go, it can be a struggle to get a good drink. Even if the local coffee shops make coffee better, you gotta invest in good water.
Well,
that's a big deal.
I remember you telling me this, and I was like amazed because I will tell Nathan I want to go get a water from Starbucks. Like,
yeah,
it's delicious. Love their water, and it's free, and they give you I asked for a Trenta, which also local places don't have as big of cups, and I'm a big jug water person, and I remember you telling me that, and I was like, this is why I think about Starbucks water.
Yep. So you ever want to make coffee at home better, just invest in good water filtration and your coffee or tea will taste so much better.
This is amazing. Well, the cream of the show is just right here. You just heard it all.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, so after college, and what did you do for school or start to do?
I got my degree in psychology, and then it was a cognate in Christian counseling. But then my last year, my senior year, I did local church administration. And that year, out of all the years of college, changed my life dramatically.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the whole year I was in this specific class. When I walked into class, the people even thought I got my schedule wrong. When I walked into class, it was on local church administration. And it was 12 guys in the class, and all of them were literally taking their last class before being appointed to become a pastor or seminary. And here I am, 20-year-old Clarissa walking in, and the teacher even looked at the paper and was like, "Are you sure you're in this class?" I'm like, "Yeah, I called my registrar, and they actually put me in this class because my other class got canceled or whatever." So that year, I learned about church budgeting. I learned about ethics of church ministry. I got to shadow a children's ministry director of one of the largest children's ministries like in Virginia.
Wow.
And she was retiring. So she was sharing like everything that she learned, and I got to watch it. But that little mistake in my schedule, I reflect on those moments the most in my school career.
And this is encouraging because so many mistakes in our schedule,
Yes.
but trusting that God has a plan.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Miranda's going to preach. She's going to find a preach, and I love that about her.
We're going to see. Okay, so you finish school. You're not at Starbucks.
No.
You're living at home.
Yes.
You somehow end up connected with Impact Junkie.
Well, actually, I worked at...
Okay, tell us what happened.
America's Prosperity.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We also worked together.
Yes. At different times, but we were crossing times.
Yes.
But we were definitely hired to do the same job, which I think makes sense because of our personality.
Our similar fabulousness.
Yeah. So I did work for Americans for Prosperity for a while, and then eventually moved to Bridge. But yeah, so I definitely worked the same job as Miranda, and I was inspired by your job because it looked super flexible for someone being young.
It was flexible. I felt like a little miracle that I got that job, and I got to learn so much and have so much fun. And if you don't know, Americans for Prosperity is all about economic freedom, small business support. Like, it totally makes sense why you were there with what we know about you now. Okay, so then you left there.
Yes.
And then what happened?
So, I remember the day I left. I could tell you the Starbucks I was sitting in when I wrote my little email saying, I'm leaving this job that's paying very well, excellent benefits, even had the laptop from them, And I just remember feeling like I need to leave because there was this company called Impact Junkie with Philip Harding, which I encourage you to look them up. They also have a great podcast, which is great episodes if you're an entrepreneur. But I started feeling this call to make this jump from like this corporate type job and really get to work with entrepreneurs around the world, especially people that were solving real problems with their business. So you can go out and sell anything, which you can help. But there was people that were really solving real world problems with entrepreneurship.
Love that. And
so that was really fascinating to me, and something that I feel like at the time the church was still figuring out, and it still is.
Yeah.
This is over 5 years ago now. But that was an interesting thing. But I remember the call. I sent the email saying I'm quitting. I'm putting in my 2 weeks. They asked for another 2 weeks, so I stayed 4 weeks. But I remember the head of HR calling me and saying, do you know what you're doing? Mm. And he said, I see what you're doing. He's like, you can, I don't know what the word is, recant it, but you can take it back. Like, you get one shot to take it back. He's like, do you understand? Like, you're losing your benefits. You're doing this. You're doing that. I remember thinking, yeah, I feel like this is what the Lord's calling me to do. And I took a huge pay cut.
So what was the moment like where you felt like God, that this was a God thing? Not just like out of curiosity or I know these people or like I like their values. But what did it look like for you internally when it was like, the Lord is pressing me to, or, asking me or whatever? What was that like?
I think I call them jump moments. There's been lots of times, and I'm sure all of us could find moments in our life of transition where it was like, I have to make a decision. I can go this way or that way. God will honor either decision. That's one thing I will say. It wasn't like if I made this decision or that decision, God wasn't going to be present or weave my story together. I wish I would have known that at the time. At the time, I felt like, no, I have to make this decision. And it was from a lot of prayer. It was from a lot of just talking to other people. But I will be honest, I did not tell my parents. I did not tell them the day I quit. I mean, I was a grown woman, but still, I didn't tell them. And I waited like 2 or 3 weeks to tell them because it was such a big decision that I knew they would not.
Yeah.
Now, I had talked to like leaders in my life, but I just knew, which my parents are loving people, and I will talk about them today because they have been so gracious to me my whole life. But yeah, I just felt like it was time to jump. And the funny thing is, when I did jump, the department that I was working in was basically like 3 or 4 months later, they not demolished it, but they consolidated. It wasn't even a thing anymore.
Wow.
Like what I was doing was gone. So I would have either had to move to a position that maybe I didn't want, or I would have gotten laid off. So when I look back, yes.
So important.
So it was either get laid off and have no money, but at least I had something that I was doing, and I got to move back home during that season. So I didn't have big rent payment and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was able to kind of take a risky move at that time.
Yeah. And let that be an encouragement. Like, if the Lord is pressing you, you can take the leap of faith, and he'll be there if you land on solid ground, or if you just somehow keep falling.
Yes.
Like, God is good.
There was one moment that I knew. So I remember I was trying to make the decision. Philip, I really just admire him as a leader. But I was in this in-between. It was the summer that I was trying to decide if I was going to make the jump or not. During that summer, or like about May that time, my grandmother died. And she was older. She was 96.
And you were close to her.
I was close to her. She was a very quiet woman, so she was tough to get close to. But she was a very just simple woman. Like, she did not say much. And I was there with my mom when she passed. And I didn't realize how hard that would hit me, my grandmother passing.
I remember that.
Yeah, like I just didn't remember. And I was in this interesting church transition where my church family was not the one I grew up with. And I was in this new church. And my mom didn't want a big funeral, so we just had a simple memorial service. Well, I remember, I was telling my job, my corporate job, hey, my grandmother's passing away. I remember, I don't think anyone knew how to respond except just like take a couple weeks off, whatever. But that memorial service, Philip came. Aww. And he drove 3 hours. And this is the one asking me to leave my job to come help him with his very small company that was getting off the ground. He not only was there, but sent flowers and was fully present through that whole week with my parents. And I remember thinking, I don't know what will happen, but I can follow you and I can trust that you'll take care of me as an employee.
I love that.
And so my job, so now that's something Daniel and I do. If someone passes away, we try to send flowers. We try to be there for people because that meant so much to us. And there wasn't a lot of people who went to the memorial service because my grandmother didn't attend church with us. So people just didn't know her.
Sure.
And she was 96, so everyone passed away. But that was actually one of the moments I said, I will follow you wherever if that's how you treat people, especially when I wasn't your employee yet.
I love that.
Like, that means a lot.
Philip.
Yeah. Those little things mean a lot.
That's a huge deal. It's so much easier to stay with an employer or to follow anyone's leadership. Really, it doesn't even have to be an employer when they show you that they genuinely like care about your life and are invested, and that it's not so transactional.
Yes. Yes, being there for people. And I always say it was our lowest point because she was older. She was going to pass, but just being present even if he never met her. That was just amazing.
A point for you.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that. Praise God. We love Philip, the Hardings.
Yes. So I love that. So that's a great moment that I will carry with me forever. Like, I want to be that type of person to anyone, even if they're not my employer. I just want to be that type of person.
You are that type of person.
I hope so.
Totally.
Thank you.
I remember when you posted on Facebook, it's like, I don't think it was a Facebook Live, but it was a video of you on a rocking chair, sitting outside, talking about how you were leaving your job and you were going to go to Impact Junkie. And what's their motto? Like, change.
Oh, love people, go places, change lives.
Yeah. And I was watching this video and I'm like, go with God. Like, I'm like, you go, girl, you glow, girl.
Yes,
but I'm just watching Clarissa do this video and I'm like, she must have heard from the Lord because Clarissa's so smart.
I don't even remember.
And so strategic. I bet we could find it on Facebook.
That is crazy. I did not know
I knew that she wasn't a dummy, Like, I was like, Clarissa has heard from the Lord and the Lord has asked her to go and she's going. And I was excited for you because I knew you wouldn't do that if it wasn't like a God thing. You're just too smart. So I remember this little Facebook video. We should go home and look for it.
That's funny. Yeah. I don't remember. Maybe I do, but I didn't remember it was live.
We're just rocking like an old lady talking about what you were doing.
That's funny. I rocked in my rocking chair this morning.
I love a good rocking chair.
Yes. I support that.
Okay,
That's
so funny. You ended up at Impact Junkie and you had previously worked for a place that was in total support of the free market and free marketplace of ideas, like small businesses. So this makes sense. Okay, so really quick before we move on from Impact Junkie, you went to lots of places.
Yes.
You did lots of things. You supported lots of women.
Yes.
In particular. So where was your favorite country that you went to? I know it's hard because I've traveled a little bit too. And when people ask me that, I'm like, favorite, depending on what, like what, makes the favorite. But if there was a place you enjoyed the most and why, and then where is still on your bucket list?
Cool. I'm going to name a couple favorite places for different reasons.
We've got time.
Yeah. I do believe one of my favorite places was Guatemala. I've been there 5 times, and I've been
told it's so beautiful.
Yes, it's very up and coming. You definitely see poverty, but you also see a lot of innovation and a lot of really unique growth in the country. But it's all connected to their culture, so they're not trying to be something they're not. They're really trying to grow and do better within who they are. So I really enjoy Guatemala. It's a beautiful country. Antigua is gorgeous. It's a historical site. It's like on the registry or whatever.
Wendy, who we also went to church with growing up, is from Guatemala.
Yes, and
I'm pretty sure. Yes, and she has told me how beautiful it is. So it's on my bucket list because of my friend.
And it's pretty easy to get to, which is nice. It's not like this long trip. Like you can get there. The other thing that Guatemala has is Pollo Campero, which is a fast food chicken place.
Really? Like KFC or Popeyes?
Yes. They actually have one in Richmond. I still have not gone to it because I'm nervous it's going to disappoint the real thing. But Pollo Campero is a big deal. And actually, when you get back on the plane to go home, people are buying like 30-piece chicken, like fried chicken boxes. And the company
sounds so good.
Oh yeah, it's delicious. And the company has made specific airport friendly chicken boxes for people to bring their chicken through TSA onto the plane.
Now that is innovative right there.
Yes. Like I love that the airports are like, okay, people are going to hide this chicken in their suitcase. Yeah. We at least need to accommodate them. So when you're going home, the whole airplane smells like Pollo Campero.
It would really suck if you didn't like chicken. Yeah. But yeah, that sounds amazing.
It's so good. It's so good. It's
that's really good to know.
But there is one in Richmond, but like I said, I just haven't tried it because I'm a little nervous.
And I didn't know Antigua was there.
Yes. Well, there's Antigua the country and then there's Antigua the city.
Okay, I'm thinking of like the country.
Yeah. Antigua the city, and it's a historical city, so it's all cobblestone type streets or brick road or whatever. And they've done a great job keeping it what it is, but it also has the big volcano. So you can see it puffing.
I've gotta go.
Because of the volcano, because it's an active volcano, I don't know the technical words for it. But because it's has whatever residue coming out of the volcano, it makes the flowers even more beautiful. Like it brings life to it. So even in this active volcano, the wildlife around it is even more vibrant in color because it's getting this unique nutrients from the volcano.
That's wild to me. I'm I wish I knew science because that sounds like such a fun thing to understand.
Yeah, I don't understand it, but I just know that that's part of the ecosystem there.
I love that. Okay.
But so my other place.
Yeah.
United Arab Emirates, where Dubai is. Everyone should go once. That's a crazy place in the world.
I think this was where I was going to go with you.
Yes.
And I chose a different place with another organization.
What was the name of it? Where did you? It was like South Sudan. You were in like a war-torn country.
I went to South Sudan.
Which was crazy too.
And we were traveling at the same time. This is so funny. We were traveling at the same time, and I was doing some contract work with a different organization. And Impact Junkie had invited me, or was thinking about inviting me, to go to the UAE. And I had already said yes to this other organization. And I remember being like, did I make a mistake? Because I saw Clarissa and she was posting and talking about their work, and it was amazing. And I was like, Lord, how did I not end up on this trip?
We were both traveling at the same time. So Miranda also was traveling the world.
I was traveling.
Yeah, and you were going to Iraq and crazy places.
It's a miracle.
South Sudan.
Yes.
Morocco.
I did love South Sudan. The people were lovely.
Yes.
I'm just throwing it out there that I almost was in a mall with Clarissa. Because I remember you posted pictures. You went in this really cool mall.
Yeah.
There was like a roller coaster inside, right?
Yeah.
This is what I remember about your trip. I don't know the impact you made in the lives that were changed, but I remember the mall that had the roller coaster.
Probably the mall of Dubai or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, UAE is an incredible city because literally I think it's like, I don't know how many years ago, but like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, if you Google where Dubai is, it was literally just desert. And to see what they've done, is incredible. It's very inspiring, and the people are still very nice, and the hospitality was incredible. And I went to a tea room there, and I remember thinking, I want it to feel like that if we ever have any other business. I didn't even know my husband at the time, but I remember thinking, if I ever have a business, I want to have the hospitality of the people in Dubai. Yeah. Because they were incredible, or really anywhere.
And this is why it's so good to travel if you get the opportunity. Yes. I'm all about being a tourist, but if you ever get the opportunity to like go travel where you do any kind of work, whether it's like service work or missions, or like you actually get to do work with communities like what Clarissa was doing, I feel like it just changes your whole perspective and helps you bring some of that back. Like if you're an American or wherever you're from, you get to bring some of that golden knowledge and experience back to your country. And it just is so enriching.
And the UAE being there at that time, we were there specifically to support women entrepreneurs, which was a huge deal in that country,
100%.
But also that part of the world.
Yeah.
And there were women coming from Saudi Arabia and all the other surrounding areas to come to UAE to learn how to do women entrepreneurship. But the conversations, like here in America, it's like how to start your business or how to get marketing.
Yeah.
Like there was a session on like how to tell your parents you're going to be a woman entrepreneur, how to tell your dad you're going to be a woman entrepreneur, and how much of a risk that could be. Not just like, it wasn't life or death necessarily in the UAE, but it was a social risk. Yeah. It was, why are you doing this? Your husband will take care of you one day. Like you don't need to do this. But it was interesting to kind of go back to those basics of like how to become a woman entrepreneur where it could literally put your family at risk for so many things. And that was
really interesting
perspective that honestly, I probably wasn't the right person to talk about it, but I could empathize that it was the right direction to go. Like entrepreneurship is for everyone. It's not just a male or a woman thing. It's, if you feel called to be one, you should go after that.
Yeah. And it's, like you said, it's for everyone, but there's the reason why the world is what it is because, you know, we believe that God has put talents and resources and giftings, abilities, etc., in every person. So every person, even if there's a million people doing it like you, there's still room for you, which I think scares a lot of people out of entrepreneurship. Like I've even thought, even with just this podcast, like there's no money being made or anything like that. But I'm like, there's already so many good podcasts. What's another podcast? But then I'm like, but it's not you. It's not yours.
Yes.
So you just have to have faith in God's good design in that way.
And if you feel called to do something, do it. Like we were just talking earlier, like even if you're called to do it for
a season,
doesn't mean you're called to do it for the rest of your life. You may not be a lifetime podcaster. Probably 10 years from now, it'll be some different medium that we use, you know? But if you feel called to do it now, I really believe it's because God is wanting to teach you skills. He's wanting you to learn something that you can't learn at school. You can't learn just by watching TikTok or YouTube. Like you actually have to just get in there and do it. And then you may even learn it's not for you, and it's better to do it that way than to always wish, I wonder if I was called to do this.
This is such a good thought, because I think maybe you could even answer this. Like, how do you, if you feel, so like I believe, you know, there's a scripture in the Bible about God giving you the desires of your heart. I don't believe that means God gives you whatever you want willy-nilly, right? But I do believe if you're following the Lord, that he's planted things in you so that you can develop them, grow into them, whatever, later in your life.
Yes.
So what do you think is like the balance, or the, maybe you called it earlier, like a jump moment or something, where it's like, okay, if this doesn't pan out the way I want, is this a thing to still pursue because I still have this desire? Or do I leave it alone because a desire doesn't mean a calling necessarily? Like
Yeah.
to be interested in something versus to be called and like God's appointing you like at this time to do it are not the same. Because I have like a million interests.
Yeah.
You know?
I think for me, it's learning to say yes, but also learning when to say, okay, I'm done with this. And being okay with that. Not saying it's done forever, but it's done for now. And I need to move on to the next
Putting it
thing.
on the shelf.
Putting on the shelf. And yeah, there's lots of things. Like I love to write. I haven't written anything in forever, but my writing skills have helped me grow a business.
And she does resumes. She's
Yeah,
helped
or
lots of people with their resumes.
you know, but yeah, God's not calling me to write a book right now, but doesn't mean I'm not called to do that in another season.
I would read it. I would.
Or if I sat down to try to write a book, it may not be the right time. Like I think I could give a more real life example. Like just knowing when to say, okay, I got to go to the next thing, but it doesn't mean it's forever. Like it's okay to put things on pause. But it's a very hard thing. But I do believe God honors faith. And if I have faith to put something on pause, even if it quote unquote wasn't in God's timing, I don't think that negates that it will never come back.
Yeah. And even more than faith, like God honors and loves and needs our obedience.
Yes. Yes, he does.
The Lord, like I heard it said on another thing I was listening to, the girl said, obedience is God's love language. Which was such a deep thought for me.
Yeah.
Because God is so gracious and so good. And there's but God wants and loves and operates, I don't want to say his best, but like gets his fullest input out of our lives through obedience. But sometimes obedience feels so hard because like for me, if I start something, I felt like the Lord told me to start this podcast. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be obedient and just, God didn't say how many or how long, but like start a podcast. So I started it and I'm like, but let me nurture that. What should it be? What's the vision for it? Like what's my end goal, whatever. But I don't actually have that vision. God hasn't given that to me. I don't know. And I don't want to make it my own thing. I'm just at like step one of, hey, just do this.
Just take step one.
But I want to be obedient because, I mean, yeah, it's a hard thing. But like, then I'm like, what if I loved it? And then what if God was like, okay, it's done?
Yeah, and that's the hard part. That's when learning, that's when you have to learn like.
of giving it back to God, which God asks us to do in so many areas of our life. Just like when you have a baby and you take your kid to be dedicated to the Lord. And you're like, okay, God, thank you for this sweet baby, but here you go. I'm going to dedicate this child to you and your kingdom. I'm going to trust you. And then one day the Lord's like, I've called your child to the most unreached people group that has ever existed. And then you're like, oh God, let's have a conversation because I want my kid to go to here to do some service things and not the scary place.
Yeah.
And then you're back to that obedience part.
Yeah, I think you just have to, I think you just really realize your life is not your own.
Yes.
You can make a million decisions and God's still going to lead you where you need to go. And I love, me and my husband talk a lot about the story of Abraham. Like Abraham made some really,
and not just kids, they're all wild.
Yeah, made some crazy decisions that affected his family immediately, affected the spiritual walk of, well, we could go into it, but it just really affected a lot of people. And honestly, it just came down to him like being actually obedient and listening to the voice of God.
Yeah.
But God still worked it out.
Yeah.
I mean, some would say it wasn't completely worked out, but
still being worked out.
It's still being worked out. But I just love that story because he really tried to control his own destiny so many times. And God's like, I got you. Like, do you not see how much I got you?
I'm so guilty of that.
And he was rich. Like, Abraham could pay his way to get out of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, he could just be like, well, I made a mistake. I'll just pay to get out of it. But you can't. Like, you can't pay to get out of the will of God.
Hard for me. Yeah.
Like, you can't. It's not even if you had all the money in the world, then God starts, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Like, no, like, God's still leading because he has a way grander plan. But it is very hard to trust that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And navigate it.
And to move a little at a time.
And not listen to other people's opinions.
Yes. I was just listening to such a good sermon about when the Lord has asked you to do something or has given you a word or a promise, the kind of people you want in the room for that. And this woman, actually, her name's Mia Fields. If you've never heard her testimony or like anything about her life, she's phenomenal. But she talks about how she had a promise from the Lord about having a baby. It's like kind of jumping. She had a promise from the Lord about having a baby. And she ended up, something happened and she had one of her tubes removed in a surgery she was having. And when she woke up, her husband was there and he was like, I'm so sorry, babe. They had to take out one of your tubes or whatever. Wow. And she just cried. Like she tells the story and she just says, I felt a tear come down my cheek. And then she just said, well, the other tube's going to have to be the hero because she had this promise. She has this one word from the Lord. And so when she was telling her Christian community, it was even in her Christian community, she had to cut it into like thirds of who would be the people she would talk to, because a part of her Christian community were the what if practical, normal people, not bad people, but the people that were like, okay, this is the case for you. Let's look at it realistically, X, Y, and Z. And she said she couldn't talk to those amongst her believer friends, like those people she couldn't have in the room for a time because they didn't hear that promise. God didn't give her the caveats and the extra
how-tos.
And she said something so good. She said that there was a million ways. She said that you can move heaven through a million physical like means that we have, but you will know in your heart that it wasn't actually like the miracle that God had for you. Like you can make it happen. You can go get whatever. But if like that wasn't the God story for you, God is still good, but he had a way. He had a particular way. And it was just so. And then I was like, Lord, help me to make sure I'm the kind of believer and encourager that can be in that, third. Like if you're cutting all your friends, like cutting them into pie pieces and you're like, okay, these are the people I can talk to and it really makes sense. And these are the people that I can't talk to at all because they haven't experienced it. I'm like, Lord, help me be in the room of the people that don't have any idea how it's going to work out for you, but they say, if you heard from the Lord.
Yes, we trust him.
We're doing it.
Yeah. It's tough.
It is tough.
There's no easy way.
It's not for
and
the
I
faint
definitely
of
don't
heart.
have it figured out.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Okay, so after reviewing some of the chapters of your life, how would you say that your upbringing or family environment helped craft this faith and boldness or ended you up in entrepreneurial whatever? So like when I was a kid, I was really tenacious. Okay, this is a thing that's been the same about me my whole life.
Word, tenacious.
I was very tenacious. It's another word for like aggressively getting what you want. We love it. But I was really into trading things. So like people would give me things that I wasn't allowed to use or to have. And I remember a lady at our church when I was a kid gave my mom like 10 pairs of, she was a like young adult, like 10 pairs of shoes that would fit me, but they were all grown-up shoes. And my mom was like, you're not wearing those. And so I took them to my elementary school and I started trading them with girls that were allowed to wear them for things that I wanted that I couldn't have. So like when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. I was hustling eyeshadow. I was hustling lipstick.
I'm cracking up because I know this about you at camp.
Yes.
She would trade clothes.
Oh, yeah, because I feel like just at camp, everybody
I love
had
that was
better,
a trait.
Yeah. So, but like one girl traded me a bead making kit.
Okay.
That was like 500
and
beads.
You could make more things.
And I made so much. And I made this like little lizard from my dad that he probably still has. So I'm asking you, was there moments in your life that you had this entrepreneurial spirit or like that your family, anything like that?
First of all, I know about the trading because that's actually, so we grew up together, but we were in the same youth group. And I remember we would go home talking about Miranda will trade with you anything. Like you will walk away with like something totally different than what you wanted, but she would trade clothes with you.
You know what it makes me feel like? It makes me feel like Dwight off The Office in that one episode where he's like trading to get, and he ends up with
the
these
favors.
magic beans.
We just, we're watching that now. Yeah, it's a funny thing, but that is entrepreneurship. So I love that. So I don't know of a history of entrepreneurship in my family. My family has always had jobs.
They're hardworking.
They're hardworking, wonderful. But one thing is my dad is entrepreneurial. He may have never started his own company, but I have probably learned most of my entrepreneurship at a young age from my dad. I remember we would drive down the road and he's like, man, that place would be great for this type of thing. And you could do this and that. Just the conversations he would have about entrepreneurship were very
ideas.
Unique. Yes. He always had ideas or like inventions or different things. And I know my dad doesn't hear this enough from me, so I'm glad to share this. But like, he just was extremely entrepreneurial. He also was really great about like repurposing things or thinking outside the box.
Kind of innovative.
Yes. Or selling things. My uncle Mike is also extremely entrepreneurial.
Your dad's brother?
Yes. He loves to sell things, and he's a great salesman. So I just remember that growing up, but there was never I cannot tell you in my history, like, yeah, this family member started this business. I don't know. Like, I don't know that in my story.
But, okay.
Which is unique because most people, like, business owner to business owner to business owner. But what I do know about myself is I would convince people at school. I went to a Christian school. At recess, I started these clubs. And they had membership dues.
Good for you.
And I would make people pay membership dues. And they would get access to certain things.
Amazing.
In this club. I remember selling lemonade. I always did yard sales. I would beg to host yard sales. I love yard sales.
So there was your entrepreneurial spirit
right
there.
But I never thought of it as a career path. In my mind, I never was like, I'm going to be a small business owner one day. It never came up in school. It was never like an option.
I think if you don't have people in your life who are already doing that, they don't necessarily have the language, like the word to give you. So like when I was growing up, I was told all the time that I would kill it in sales.
Yeah, and that sounds crazy. I don't want to sell things. But then you do.
My Aunt Jackie would tell me, Mimi, like I would be like 13 years old. You need to go into sales. Like she was already thinking ahead so much for me. And my mom and dad, like sales, they make so many jokes about. But I think also you've always been a person that's really in church ministry and evangelism. And I think that you don't even realize, let me just say, the things you're doing at your church, the ways you serve in ministry,
I didn't think
especially as a child, a teenager, and a young adult, those things will carry over into your professional development and your career. So like growing up, if you are taken door to door and you are knocking on people's doors and you are telling them about Jesus, about your experience, this may sound terrible, but like you're selling something. You are saying,
I never thought about that.
Hey, this is the gospel. This is my experience. You're being a little influencer. You're saying, I know that this would bless you. I know that this would change your life. It's changed mine. So why don't you come to church with me and hear the gospel preached? And we had so much evangelism growing up. Like, I'm so thankful.
That was a big part.
But
I never thought about that.
Yes, but that was a huge thing because when I got my first job, like my first adult whatever job it was at AFP, and we did a lot of campaigning and lots of discussion about ideas and all these things. And I remember thinking, thank God that my parents were involved in church and that my church was so active in the community and in evangelism, because all of the skills that I'm about to get paid big money for at 24 years old are things that I was doing in youth.
Yeah, I'd never thought about evangelism in that way. Yes. That is absolutely, and we love doing
But you're selling the gospel. You're talking to strangers. You're telling about your experience, which is, I feel like,
or having to sell things to go on a missions trip or a youth trip.
Don't even get me started on actual fundraisers.
Yeah, fundraisers. I mean, seriously, that is selling.
But that is where you learn. Yeah, which I did so much of.
Yeah,
one time I was making cake pops.
Yeah,
I
think
never
we all
made
have
cake
pops.
They're
hard to make.
They were so much more work than I anticipated.
Cake pops now, when I see them in a store, I'm like, I get why they're so expensive.
Yes, and
they're hard to make.
We sold Krispy Kreme donuts. God bless my mom. Like she would take me and Jessica in particular to get the money we needed for youth camp or whatever, but it was way cheaper. Okay, the world was a different place. So don't try this now. It's not going to be the same. I mean, try it if you want, but it's not going to be the same. And my mom would drive us to every which neighborhood, every side of town that people would buy a box of Krispy Kreme donuts for. It was like, I I think it was like $6 or $7. And we would make that money. And that is how we went to youth camp.
I'm going to up you on this
a million
one.
times. Do it.
Maybe y'all did this, but we delivered phone books.
Okay, we did not do that.
So the logistics of first buying a lot of phone books, like, hey, we're going to deliver these.
That is a real throwback. I didn't even know people did that.
Yeah. And so I remember walking to the church nursery, and this was for Bible quizzing specifically. We were raising money for this ministry at church so we could go on this trip. And I love Portia Easter. Shout out to Portia Easter. She's also extremely entrepreneurial. And I actually think about her a lot when I'm doing entrepreneurship. But she convinced us to do this phone book sales. So we walked into the nursery. I mean, phone books piled high. Like so many. And she's like, okay, we're going to go deliver them. Yeah. Do you know the logistics of delivering phone books? First of all, you don't have enough car space.
Sounds awful.
So you're constantly having to run back and forth, but also carrying phone books to people's homes is crazy, but you made good money. So the donuts, the phone books, that has all taught us so much.
One time our church did an auction.
I've heard about that.
The students were auctioned off.
Which
I don't know if we would do again. Were auctioned off for house things that needed done. I was scrubbing refrigerators. I was doing so much stuff. We did, I think the closest thing to the phone book was one time somebody gifted our church the little coupon books.
Okay,
Another Office episode, by the way, that we're supposed to save you $15,000 or whatever.
It's crazy.
Or however much. And we did that.
That's a crazy number.
And then I think one time our church did a fundraiser. Whoever is from the church that's listening, you can correct me if this is wrong. But we went and picked grapes at a vineyard. Our church. By the way, our church was teetotalers. There was no drinking, no wine, no nothing.
That's funny.
But at the time, it was a team of people in leadership from our church that was picking grapes.
That's funny.
For something. I don't even know what it went to because it wasn't for like youth camp. But I was there picking grapes on a Saturday with my mom and dad, and I've got really some stories about the fundraising.
So the church fundraisers definitely can shape your...
But like all of these these are all just ministry things. These are...
Yeah, but at the time you don't think about it that way.
Yes, and this is why I'm so pro teenagers being involved in youth ministry and there being opportunities for them, whether it's in missions or however to serve. Because that's like your first... Unless your parents are in some really bomb community, that is your first like trying out your personality, your comfort level, your first time being pushed, like
in a safe bubble. That's not going to destroy
people that
you.
love you and that are there with you and you're safe.
It should be that way.
Yeah. So
that is so interesting.
Yeah,
I did not think about that.
So if you were in evangelism, if you ever felt called to evangelize, you could probably be an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
and you know because you have to have big faith.
Yes.
Like, and you have to have boldness to go up to strangers and tell them that Jesus is the only way. Like, that will stretch you.
And the risk was so low.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't sell all the phone books or donuts, it was like the church was going to cover it. So it was like this trying out entrepreneurship with very low risk.
Yes. And
like,
you'd be so
nothing's going to happen. Yeah. Like, okay, we made this much. Sorry, we didn't make more. Yeah. That was it. So it's like a great way to learn business without all the risk that now you take on when you
just have no idea. But if you don't have someone in your life that's a business-minded person, just stay involved in your church. Like, you're going to learn things. Yes. And then one day you'll be in an interview for your, like, a big job. And you're like, actually, one time when I was 15, I did this, this, and this and raised $30,000 for my youth ministry to go to North American Youth Congress or wherever you're going. So
that's a thing.
Okay, that's good to know. So you, shout out to Dad and Uncle Mike, right?
Yes.
For all that.
My mom too, but my mom was definitely more disciplined.
Yeah.
And went to school and did the big buck thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I think so many times there's people that are entrepreneurial who give their ideas and their innovation to the place that they work for.
Yes, that's where I learned that from Impact Junkie. Yeah.
That need maybe the security of a job, but that are still so brilliant, have so much they could offer. Like, I feel better giving ideas to and they could be $1 million ideas, I don't know, but to my employer, because I have that security, I don't feel bold enough to be an entrepreneur. So I feel like people like that are.
Yes. And that's something I learned from Impact Junkie. We weren't trying to teach everyone should be a business owner. Because like a nurse should work for the hospital.
Yes.
There should not just be entrepreneurial nurses starting their own businesses. Like, yes and no. But teaching people to be innovative in their job, not just stuck with like, this is what they tell me to do, that. But if there's a better way, advocate for it. Like, because the people you're taking care of are worth it, or whatever field you're in, you know, not just being happy someone's giving you a paycheck, but push yourself to be innovative.
I think I'm watching too much of The Office because so many things
that's all we watch too.
Is like when Daryl had his idea and he goes Michael Scott to the lady, what's her name? And he gets an office on the top level because of his innovativeness.
Yeah, we just had to do a little negotiation, Daniel and I, for some things that we're working on. And we watched the negotiation episode on The Office. And it was like, this is the best way to learn negotiation.
Just go binge a good Office season.
Yeah, it's a great learning tool.
Yeah, and it's so funny.
On the extreme level, like the extreme circumstance, but you do learn a lot.
You know who I love is I love Dwight.
That's
and I
funny.
love Michael Scott.
I love Michael Scott as a boss.
Yeah.
He's the one that would show up to the funeral.
Yes. And also promise you tuition that he never can pay. Yeah. Okay. So you end up in Hanover.
Yes.
Not even necessarily. You weren't here all the way yet, right? But you were at Life Church.
Yes.
You were serving in ministry. You had a house that you were renting that you called the Love House.
Yes.
Where you took in a student as a young adult to take care of.
Yeah, that was a crazy season.
Always been very compassionate and sharing.
Yeah.
And generous. And then you meet Mr. Luna.
Yeah,
what
so I
happened?
moved. So COVID happened, first of all. I was going to Life Church before COVID, but I was definitely fully involved with Impact Junkie, and that meant traveling.
Yeah.
So I wasn't fully engaged in a ministry. And that was between like 2017 through 2020. And then COVID happened, and obviously with Impact Junkie, everything like travel-wise stopped.
That's when my international job also changed a lot.
And I actually remember being in Jamaica. That was my last trip. And I remember on the way there wasn't like too much talk. On the way home, they're like, you need to wear a mask, you need to do things. So it was like right at that time. And everyone's like, oh, this is a joke. And I remember remember sitting on the plane and looking at a guy taking out wipes and was wiping down everything. And I was like, maybe it's just weird. And then I remember seeing another person start to do that. And I was like,
the germs.
This is interesting. Whatever. Like, people are just being interesting.
Yeah.
But then COVID really happened a couple weeks later, and it was like full-blown shutdown. Like, the world is changing. Impact Junkie, we pivoted great, which I loved. I picked up the skill of grant writing because everyone was giving away free money, like, help us keep doing this around the world virtually.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs in other countries were suffering, like just suffering. So I just remember picking up that skill. So we're doing a little pre. So COVID, I was stuck at home all day. I was trying to figure out how to help Impact Junkie make money because now we can't travel. So we were trying to do some interesting programs, writing grants and getting those grants and then doing the program for the grant. But I was bored at home. Not bored. That's also where I went to go back to Starbucks for a month.
Yeah.
But I definitely had more time because I wasn't traveling. So I remember talking to our awesome pastor's wife, Robin Thompson, and saying, okay, I think I can go back to serving in ministry more like on a weekly basis. Plus the church needed help.
Yeah.
So just COVID just started serving every week. And during that time, our great friends, mutual friends, Stephen and Jasmine Funes, were in a unique transition as well, waiting for God to gift them their new Chick-fil-A and lead them where they were called to go.
Shout out. They're in Canada. We love them. We love you.
Yes. And that's also a person I love to observe as a business owner too.
Jasmine.
She's great entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah. But they were coming back to Life Church because COVID and everything was just delayed. Like, they weren't getting their Chick-fil-A yet because it was taking more time. So they were there being the youth pastors at the time. And so I was just doing children's ministry through COVID, which was just a whole new game. And it required being there every Sunday. And honestly, I was barely at the adult church. I was in children's ministry, both services every Sunday because there was very limited volunteers. And so I was just upstairs all the time. Well, little did I know that during that time, mind you, I am like 28 years old at this time, 28, 29. I didn't really date. I didn't really talk to people. But being 28 single, you know, you really start thinking about your life.
Yeah.
Then COVID happens and you're like, how am I going to meet someone?
I'm really not
like
meeting anybody
COVID is
now.
gone. Like
Yeah.
COVID is, it's, yeah. And so I just remember in that season, I remember coming back one time from church and I remember the Lord saying, these are 7 qualities your husband's going to have. And it was just like, it was Father's Day. I remember that. It was a random time. And I just remember writing down all of those things not writing down. I was driving. I put it in my phone in my car. Like I put it in my notes. I wrote it down. And I wrote down these 7 qualities that I had never even really thought about and then just moved on. And it just, yeah. But little did I know around that time, Daniel Luna, who's my husband, but at the time he was just Daniel Luna, was starting to attend Life Church. And that's a whole other episode for how he got there. But he started to attend Life Church during COVID because so many churches had shut down. There really wasn't many churches having churches, more or less having 2 services. And so Daniel joined the church and got involved right away because they just needed hands. And so he was at church every Sunday. I was at church every Sunday. But because of us being on 2 different floors, Daniel was always serving in the bottom floor and I was always serving the top floor. And we never crossed paths. So he started attending June like 2020, May 2020. And it took until February 2021 for us to officially meet. And how we met was because Stephen and Jasmine had officially received their Chick-fil-A and their timeline was very fast. So they had to move within like 2 months. I don't even know if it felt even shorter than that.
Yeah.
They had to move and the church was kind of in this interesting spot, which Miranda was not in.
I was in Alabama.
Yeah. So Miranda was not there. There was actually a lot of people not there. Lauren was not there. There was just a lot of people not at
Present,
like that were part of really the foundation of the church. They were just
scattered
scattered abroad. And so I remember Pastor and Robin asking to meet with me. I don't think they realized when they asked to meet with me, it was my birthday. They were so sweet and made sure they had a little gift, which I thought was so cute. But I was like, yeah, it's definitely my birthday. And they asked me, would you lead the children and youth ministry? And that was in January 2021. And I remember thinking, I mean, we'll give it a try. Like, I think it's possible, but it's not a long-term thing. And so I said,
they asked you and you were not married.
I was not married.
I love that. I just respect them for being able
It's
to
a
look
crazy
at
time.
like your quality and even think like we would love for her to have a husband. A team would always be better, but she has everything she needs and God will help her. And she has, so I love that.
And I did make a deal with God, like, okay, this is what you're calling me to do in this season, then I'm going to need a husband. Like, not just because
I love
it's
the
like
negotiations with the Lord.
Yeah, like not just because it's a good idea, but like I can't do this by myself. Like this isn't fair.
And it wouldn't be best for
It
everybody.
would not be best. So I totally agree with single women leading in ministry. I think everyone should do it, but I don't think it can always be sustainable. And that may be very controversial, but I lived it. So that's coming from.
It's just hard. It would be hard for a man too.
Maybe it's not sustainable. Sustainable for me. I'll just say that. It wasn't sustainable for me, but I knew that it was a unique season where I had a lot of time and I could just kind of figure this out. And so I don't think it's ironic that I said yes in January. And then in February, I went to go observe my first youth event, which I had not been in a youth event in forever. And let me tell you, it was the Valentine's Day banquet and it was like the tension in the room because all the girls are getting dressed up. Yeah. All the guys are semi getting dressed up. They're not really sure. They're like jeans and their dress shirt, not wrinkled. I mean, all wrinkled up and tucked in funny. But I remember showing up to a Valentine's Day banquet for a youth and I was like, oh, I forgot all of this the funniness. That was funny. So I remember just being in there and like, it was just awkward. And then I remember like saying hi to some of the students and realizing I am old and I look older, and they're like, who are you? Like,
You know what? It is a hard thing when
It
you're in
is
your late
so hard.
20s and you go back into youth ministry because you're like, things have changed.
yeah, and they judge you. I judged people my age
Yes.
who were helping youth. So I know they were judging me. They didn't have
And
a right
you're
to
just
judge
not
me.
as fun and cool as you used to be,
No.
which was so hard for me.
No.
Like, I remember thinking to myself, even now, I'm like, Miranda, you're being an old lady. But
Yeah.
I am different than a 15-year-old.
Very, yeah, it was just one of those things. And so I remember looking across the room and seeing Daniel Luna. He was serving with the youth, and I had never seen him before. And then I also saw him come in with his sister, who actually at the time I thought was his girlfriend, but that was definitely his sister, who we love.
Always double check, ladies.
Yes.
It could be his sister.
But I remember seeing him, and I was like, who is that? Like, I go to this church.
Yeah.
Like, I'm involved in some
You should
type
know.
of leadership.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen this person before. Why is he serving at youth? Who is this person?
I want to take a pause. This is such an encouragement because I feel like if you're a single woman, I have lots of single girlfriends that I love, and I'm so excited to spend all the money at their, lingerie shower when they get married, whatever.
Yes.
Notice that Clarissa shared that he was serving upstairs
Yes.
and she was serving downstairs. They were going to the same church.
For
They
10
were
months.
involved in ministry. They were existing there together. And she still did not know him until the right time
Yes.
came together. So if you're serving in your church and you're looking around saying, there's no men here, there's no way, like, I need to
Keep
church
serving,
jump
yeah.
or I need to whatever you're, like, God is good and God knows. And
Yes.
you could be going to church with a guy you've never even seen before. Just want to shout out like that.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. And at the time, Daniel had just shaved his beard, which was a funny thing. I pray to God he never does that again. He just looks really young. And so I remember going out to introduce myself, and I said, hi, I'm Clarissa. And he said, hi, I'm Daniel. And I remember the Lord's voice saying, this is your husband. And I remember thinking in my mind, that is crazy.
That is crazy.
This person looks like he's 20. And I am definitely 28.
Okay, so Daniel is younger than Clarissa.
Yes, but not by that much. Not 20 versus 28.
Yes. And
But he's definitely younger.
Nathan is younger than me. If you know me,
Yes.
my husband is younger than me too. So we like kind of laugh at that in our life.
Yes, it's very mirroring that. Yeah, and that's an interesting thing.
So then how long did you know Daniel before you married him?
It would have been a year and 2 months. So we married the next year. Which I will say this, when you're older and you start dating, if you're, I don't know what the age is, but when you're of maturity and you start dating, you don't need to date nearly as long. I don't think you do because like you either know or you don't. And that was something I told Daniel. I said, I'm not looking for another friend. I don't need a best friend.
We don't need any more male friends.
I don't need a guy friend.
Yes.
I'm not looking for a guy friend because if you become my best guy friend, then I meet my
gonna
husband.
happen? Yeah.
That's weird. So,
And I feel like you don't know that until you are literally older.
yes.
Because you could not have convinced me of that when I was a
No.
young adult.
It's definitely a stage of life. Like,
Yeah.
so I remember, but that doesn't mean he wasn't in that stage.
This is also just
He could have friends that were girls.
how much more pragmatic you become as you get older because
Yes.
you literally will start dismissing people left and right because of like practical truths.
Yes.
That's so funny. That's really a thing that you get older and that matters more.
Yeah. And so there's a lot in between there. I don't think I want to cover all of that, but we met each other really fast and have spent our marriage getting to know each other. So it's not that I knew him forever, but we definitely like learned stuff about each other all the time, which is actually fun that we don't have this long history together because it makes it funny to hear stories of each other.
Does it ever scare you that you haven't known him that long?
Yeah, because you don't know how someone gets angry or how someone reacts in certain situations. But he has proven to be a great man. But I will say the first person I told was Buddy. That I was like, I think this is my husband.
I love that.
Pastor Buddy.
What did Pastor Buddy say?
Pastor Buddy, he's so positive. He's like, I think this could be a good thing.
I love that.
It could have been very much like, yes.
And that's
like,
such a basic,
Yeah.
like positive, but not too affirming statement.
yeah.
Like, I think this could be a good thing.
Yes. And he was the first person we told that we wanted to get
He
married.
has 2 daughters.
Even
He knows
over-
what
yeah.
to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Even of our own parents, we told him first. And we told him, like, I remember we got engaged and we're like, can we get married by the end of the month? And he was like, he's like, I actually support short engagement. So if you decide to, I'm for it. But then we did wait a couple months, which I'm thankful we did. But yeah, that was a funny little season of life.
I love
and
that.
Steven and Jasmine were instrumental in helping us navigate that too.
I love that.
Whole year.
So that's a good thing. Like single women and men have married friends. Spend time with your married friends, even if it means, it's looking different than your single friends. And I remember I was in Alabama, I was serving on a YWAM base, and I was dating my now husband, who I love, who also helps so much with this podcast. Love you, babe. Thank you. And I remember getting a phone call I actually think I was going into our wedding venue. We had gotten engaged.
You did. I remember because you said you had it at the Hanover Tavern. I remember hearing that on the phone.
Yes, we got we were engaged. We got engaged very quick also. But I remember I had come from Alabama to Virginia to go look at a possible wedding venue. And I had a voicemail from Clarissa. Clarissa had called me, and I remember I was with my mom, and I was like, why did Clarissa call me? And I said, she never calls. We always text. She doesn't talk on the phone a lot. So her calling me was like a thing, and I was like, Clarissa called me. And I was like, let me listen to this voicemail. And I was with my mom. And Clarissa was like, I think we're falling in love at the same time. And I was like, what is happening? Like I told my mom, I was like, Clarissa might be falling in love. What's going on? She left this in a voicemail. This is like the cliffhanger of our life. Because she had never talked to me I knew like about some guys maybe, but not a real thing. Like, hey, I got to make a phone call and I'm putting this on your voicemail. And my mom was like, oh yeah, I think something's happening with one of the guys at the church. And then I learned and I was so excited.
Yeah. And Miranda's wedding was very instrumental in our life. So long story short, Daniel and I attended the wedding as friends, and you got married at the end of November.
Yes. Because of a cheaper venue the day after Thanksgiving.
Which was great. Yeah. And it was a fight for Daniel and I to even just go to that wedding together. Like, because he knew if we went, people would be asking questions, and we're like, we just don't want to be those people. And it was Miranda's mom that had told Daniel basically at the reception or like the pre-reception, was like, what are you waiting for? Like, just
shout out Sarah.
She literally said, just jump, which that's kind of been our word. Like, just jump. Like, just do it. Just go all in. And Daniel really took a lot of time thinking. And I'm not getting into all the other details, but we finally agreed we should get married.
Shout out to Sarah and Adam Dunford, because they will in 2 seconds tell a young couple that appears to be something to get the thing done.
Yes.
They will give out books. I'm pretty sure they gave a book
and
to
I think
Evan
we
and Lauren.
Need that. Like, we need to be told, yes, this is a good thing.
You're not
crazy. Do not overthink this. You're not out of the will of God. God will bless it. Like, all the people around you are saying yes, you know? So.
And this is why you have to have older people involved in your life.
Yes. Do not ignore them. They
Even
have a
if
lot
you're
of wisdom.
30, you still don't know everything.
No.
Surprise.
No.
Okay. So I love this. So by the way, Daniel Luna is awesome.
Yes. He is awesome.
I feel like he matches your energy with the generosity, the entrepreneurial spirit, like the fun, loving affection. And I'm very thankful for that.
And he's very creative, extremely creative.
And he has these 2 wonderful sisters.
Yes.
That we love.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there's so many.
And my wonderful sister. I will say that.
Yes. And of course, Sarah, he gained a sister too.
Has been, they've all been a blessing to us in so many ways.
And wait till they all get married. Like,
I'm so excited for them.
You could have 3 male in-laws, like brother-in-laws.
Which my husband needs.
Which imagine family vacation on the beach with everyone. It sounds super fun. And y'all's families already do so much together.
Yes.
Even though they speak different languages.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
I love that. I think that's exciting. I think about my little brother getting married too, and
it's
like what that will look like in our life.
Yep, and start having kids and stuff. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Okay, so let me not ask you every question that I have. I could talk to you for so long. So let me just ask, since you guys run a business together and you also do ministry together, how do you find the balance?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll start with that.
You find it with communication, which it's always a challenge. But I think how Daniel and I have made it work. So like Miranda said, we run ministries together. We run a business together, which is a very busy business.
And then you have the marriage.
And then the marriage and life and all this. But one thing that it took us a while to get there. But when we finally figured out, okay, you own this, I own that. And I'll show a simple example. It's like, Clarissa, you take care of the pups. We have 2 crazy puppies, which we love. 2 dogs. I take care of the dogs. He takes care of the car. If he wants to help take care of the dogs, he checks in with me. If I want to help take care of the car, I check in with him. Mm-hmm. So it's like, who's the boss of this? Obviously, if there's an emergency, we can cross hairs and do whatever. That's how we also do it in ministry. It's like, you're the boss of this. I'm the boss of this. And then we communicate from there. And sometimes you get down to the nitty gritty, like, okay, if we're sending out emails, Clarissa's the boss of this, but Daniel always has to check my work. And that's just good balance.
So do you think that does that not intimidate either one of you? Like, because we all knew that Daniel signed up for a boss when he got married. Yes. Have y'all had to navigate that because you are a strong, independent woman? You weren't 20 when you got married. Like, you had your own life and thoughts and opinions and experiences. And
I think it was...
has it been a learning experience?
Yes.
Or was it like immediate matched?
It was not immediate.
Yeah.
I think for us, it was like trying to say who owns what and respecting each other through that. And I did not handle that well. So like, I loved to do everything, had my hands in everything. Didn't mean I was good at everything. So I would try to do this. I wasn't very good at it. I would try to do this. I would rather not do that. And so learning, okay, you own this really well and I own this really well. Let's just define what that is and then go from there. And so that's been really helpful for us. And it's an ongoing thing. So that's also understanding your seasons. So it's like, you're really good at owning this now, but maybe in this new season, I need to own this.
Oh, that's a really good point about seasons.
And transitioning the roles. Think about a job. Like, it's like, okay, I can be doing this position, but when this life event happens, I need to do this position. So that's been the most helpful thing. And one way we do it here, so we have a business at the tea room. I manage the back office, like you would think of a normal job.
Yeah.
I manage the back office. He manages the on-site operations. And yeah, there's conflict sometimes, like what is back office, what is on-site, but then we just discuss it and figure it out from there. But the biggest thing is separating those things. So if we're at home or managing our home, we're not trying to manage our business, which I struggle with because I think out loud. So I want to talk about it a lot. But Daniel does not think out loud. So he does not want to talk about it all the time.
That is a hard thing.
Yeah. So, but he also has learned, okay, we can talk about it, but there has to be a cutoff point. Like, okay, you can talk about it for 10 minutes, but then we got to move on because we can't bring this into our home.
This is I feel like there's so much wisdom in the season thing. So I guess like when you maybe first get married or even in anything that you're doing, we're very quick to acknowledge like our strengths, what we're capable of. And so we assume that will always, because we have these strengths, we'll always be capable of this or should always own it because we're better at it. And I think when you get married, you have to be able to look at your partner and say, I am really good at that. Mm-hmm. And I have really done this well, but this could be your season where you learn to be good at that.
Yes.
And I back away from it.
Yes.
And I don't think that I do that great because I just feel very confident in what I know I'm confident in. But maybe like we pull the rug out from under people in our life because we insist that because we're confident and we know that we are good at that we don't give them the chance to grow into that. Right. And I'm not saying like obviously hand everything to everybody that totally lacks a skill set.
And we don't have job descriptions or anything. Like,
yeah, but I'm just saying like I probably do that because I can look at me and my husband and I could just so easily like, you have this, I have this, you have this, you have this. But in different seasons of our marriage, you actually need to develop this.
Yeah.
Because you're brilliant. And I need to let go of it, which is hard.
Yeah.
But that's a great, I love
and it took a lot of time, especially in ministry, because I love this about Daniel. he did not grow up in a youth group. He did not grow up in church. He did not grow up in a children's ministry. So his ideas are fresh, new, like, and I was like, no, we have to do it. We've always done ministry this way. This is how this event needs to be run. This is how this service needs to be run. And Daniel has this fresh view that says, why?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, because of this and this. He's like, that doesn't make sense. And that's it. One of his gifts is efficiency. He's like, that doesn't seem efficient to me. That doesn't make sense. But now, and I used to be frustrated. I'm like, well, you're not being spiritual enough, or you're not being all these things, when really he's just having a fresh outlook. And that's invaluable when you're doing something very hard and when you're trying to do new things. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I've seen someone do that. It's failed. He's like, well, I've never seen anyone do it. So let's give it a try and see if we can make it better.
I love that.
But
that's the hard thing in ministry.
But it's also hard to trust someone who's never seen it. So, but I do trust his input.
Yeah.
And so that was a big challenge, you know. And then in business, for sure, it's like, we've never done this before. So there's no precedent.
Yeah.
You know?
This is it's really particularly special in ministry to have fresh eyes, because it's something so important to us, but we can be so offended about it.
Yes.
So like, I have even thought, I don't know if I want to work in leadership in church, because I have a different perspective and I don't want to be annoyingly challenging, because we care so deeply about ministry and we don't want to, if something's not broke, right, don't fix it. So I feel like I know that I can be that challenging person too, but I also have to keep myself open-minded.
Yes.
When someone's challenging my ministry or like my leadership in church. I remember one time somebody asked a question at a women's retreat, like, what is the way to reach the most people? How can we like win the most souls to the Lord? And I was so old. I was like 18. I was like, door knocking every weekend, every Saturday. If you don't knock for hours, you don't love God enough. Like,
probably in that season, it made sense.
But that was also just what I knew and what I had seen be effective. And this woman, I won't say her name, she's awesome, but she says, I don't think that's the way. And I'm thinking like, what do you know? You know? And she says, I think if we all took it upon ourselves to really, really love and disciple individuals that we are in, that come into our life, we'll have a bigger impact than hounding the doors.
And that's probably very true.
Yeah, but I remember, like, I didn't even say anything. I had to really go home and wrestle with that. Because in my mind, it took away like this collective effort, and it distributed responsibility to individuals to become those who disciple people.
And you probably want 18-year-olds going out door knocking and not individually discipling so deeply.
Sure.
Because you may not want that 18-year-old to duplicate themselves at that stage. But I love I think both work. I don't think there's not the way. I think it's recognizing, that's great for a young person, but we can't expect 7-year-old women to go door knocking every day.
Her season of life was that she was married with 2 little kids.
Yes.
And she couldn't do that. And I just didn't even consider that then. So I'm like thinking about what you're saying in ministry. That would be hard.
Yeah, it's challenging. And you don't always get it right. And when you don't get it right, what's great about church is there's people that will tell you you didn't get it right. So I love that. Like,
and you just can't
church is a community. Yeah, I don't own the church. Pastor Buddy or whoever your pastor is doesn't own their church. Like, everyone's giving should be. Financially,
of God.
Everyone has a say. You know, doesn't mean that's what we're going to do, but you should hear their feedback. And so that's one thing Daniel and I said is like, well, if we get it wrong, we're going to have to be open to feedback no matter how it's given.
And not be sensitive to criticism.
Yes.
And just because somebody says something could be done better doesn't mean that it's a personal attack against you. No. Like, as a person, you suck or whatever. It's just like this could be better, or even just this is my preference. Doesn't even mean it's wrong or right.
And sometimes realizing your biggest critic is your husband sometimes. Like, hey, why did you say that in a meeting? Well, I'm glad my husband's going to tell me, because he's probably right. I probably should have not said that way to a parent or a person. And they're not going to tell me. Or I hope one day they will, but it may take a long time for them to actually tell me. So I'm thankful for a husband. But at the time, I would be like, those little like comments, I'd be like, like that's so
Sensitive.
painful. But I remember this discussion with Daniel. He said, if you don't trust me, like you have to trust me, and you have to know if I'm making those comments, it's not because I'm trying to bring you down. It's because I'm actually trying to help you.
And that's where you really have to trust that your husband loves you and that you married a good man. Yeah.
And how I tested the trust doesn't mean I was like, yes, you're right. I automatically now trust you. But how I tested it, I was like, well, let me try what he's saying. And he was right. Like little things
and please
around
note
the way.
for the single women, Clarissa is literally talking about still growing in her trust of the man she already married.
Yes, I only knew him for a year
so
before.
I just want to point that out, that I think that people, or at least I did, you assume if you're hitching your wagon to somebody else's, you have to be 100% so confident and like blah, 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 blah. And like it means he's going to never fail you, or it means he's going to whatever. That is not true. The reason why we ask these people that are married for 50 years, how did your marriage work? Is because you're growing in trust and love for your person. So you initially love them and trust God and believe the best, blah, blah, blah. But still, when you get married, like you're still growing in that trust of them. Yeah. I didn't think about that when I first got married.
And one advice that Pastor Robin gave us from church, she said to me when I was telling her, I was like, I think Daniel and I are going to get married. Like, I think this is the person. And she said, well, really? You just need to make sure he loves the Lord, that he can provide for your family. Like, let's say there was no food on the table. Would he be a man that would get up and go find food to put on the table?
If he wouldn't be, don't marry him. Just throwing that out there.
So like loves the Lord, loves that. And then I can't remember the third thing she said, but I was like, well, he does, like, even if he's not the same person 15 years from now, I don't think those two things are going to change about him. Because I can trust and see and know he has loved the Lord. Like, and all of the different things that he's gone through. And I love seeing that. And then he's provider.
And those are values. Yes. Which is why I think it's so important. I'm always thinking about my single girlfriends because I remember the struggle of like, wanting so badly and praying and waiting and buying so many outfits, whatever. Dang, I just lost my train of thought.
But like value driven.
Yes. I thought about outfits, thought about shopping, immediately was gone from there. Yes, but if you can find the values in that person, if that really is a part of who they are and what they believe, they'll show up with that. Yes. So it doesn't matter if the life season changes, because he values taking care of his wife and his kids. He'll rise to the occasion because he values community. He'll be at church on Sundays, whatever, etc.
Yep. And that's very important.
Yeah. Okay, so this will be like my last. We'll take like 10 more minutes because I really could talk to Clarissa so long.
I'm enjoying this. This is fun.
So
we didn't eat any of the snacks, but they are good.
Actually, everything at the tea room is great. Like the food is good. The cheesecakes are the bomb. Shout out to Mission Cheesecakes, which is my Aunt Jackie. The tea is always great. What kind of tea are we drinking today?
This is a Queen Anne by Fordham and Mason. And I'm not one to describe the tea, but I will tell you about this plate.
Okay, tell us.
So this is a Burley. This is probably going to be in the cut or the bloopers, but this is a purple. Well, it's actually called Blossom Calico by the Burley Company. It's from the 1800s. It's a ceramic pottery company in England. And I really encourage you to go see how they make their stuff because it is incredible. And this is a very expensive plate.
Okay.
But it's extremely good quality and I love them.
I'm not going to touch the plate.
Oh, no, you can touch the plate.
Look at us having our tea.
It actually lasts forever.
I just need the sugar.
But I love, dishes. That's a whole other discussion.
Okay, speaking of dishes, really quick. They just expanded to not just serving tea in like the restaurant vibe, but you have the gift shop.
Yes, which I love.
That is beautiful. Like today was my first time seeing it. I see it online. I see the great pictures. I've received gifts. Like I love everything. I know I'm going to love everything, but today I actually got to go walk through and I literally said to Daniel, I would spend $1 million in this store.
Yeah, it's a fun gift shop.
There's so many fun things. Like there's so many fun gifts, but also if you just love
tea and books.
If you just love dainty, feminine, cultured things, I feel like it's such a good vibe. Or if your mom does or your girlfriend or whoever.
And here comes back to the trust. Daniel is the gift shop mastermind. I give some great input, but he is great on knowing what products will work and what products don't work. And I remember thinking some of the products we have in the gift shop, thinking that won't sell. It sells like crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there's like teacup earrings we have in there. I think they're cheesy. They're beautiful. But they're the cheapest thing we buy.
Yeah.
I think they look cheap.
Yeah.
They are our biggest seller by far, and people buy them in droves, and we cannot keep them in stock.
I love that.
But in my mind, I'm like, I would never buy a teacup earring. Like, I work at a tea room, and I have teacup earrings, and I still don't wear them.
Yeah.
But people every day will either buy a spoon or a teacup.
Yeah, you said the spoons are really popular.
Yeah, the spoons. I don't understand that either.
That's so funny. Okay, so tell me in like 2 minutes how you guys acquired the tea room.
So this is also great. If you're looking
to become... This could be a whole episode, by the way, just this story.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into much detail, but I do think it's interesting for people looking to start a business. We did not start a business from scratch. We bought a business.
I didn't know you could do this, by the way, when she first...
And now there's a whole world. Now I look, just like there's Zillow, there's whole sites dedicated to people selling their business. And you can look at businesses and purchase them just like you purchase a house. Sometimes the terms are way different. Loans are different and stuff. We thankfully didn't have to get a loan. It was very cheap. But we bought an existing business, and just like you renovate a house, we basically renovated the whole business. But when we bought the business, we included the social media following, which at the time, that business had a great social media following. And so really, there wasn't much to the business that we kept except the social media following. And that really helped us.
And the name, right?
And the name, yeah. So, yes. So the name is, it was formerly called the Queen Bee and Company, ran by Miss Heather Van Cleve, which I love. She's a wonderful woman of faith. You can look her up. She's inspiring. She is a model, spokesperson, has fought and overcame breast cancer and still is telling her story. And she's been a wonderful person. And she took on the business from someone whose husband actually had passed away from COVID. And so she was selling the business in the midst of her breast cancer struggle and didn't think she could keep it going. And so we bought it from her. But one way to become a business owner is to look at existing businesses and see if they're ever available for sale, because starting not from scratch is so much better than just creating a new idea out of thin air. Honestly, I don't know if we would have been able to be successful with that as easily. I think it would have been very hard.
Yeah, I love that. And I remember when you told me that, when you shared about this process, like being like, there's websites where people are selling whole businesses.
Yeah.
I think that's an amazing tip to share. So maybe like, is that a part of like a tip you would give?
Yes.
Like if you were giving like 3 tips to women or men, probably women, like I don't think any men are listening to this, but to anyone that has ever felt called to entrepreneurial anything, or maybe that feels called to ministry, but sometimes in ministry you don't make enough money. Like where would you send them? What would you tell them?
I think your first venture, if you can try not to start something new, but partner with something existing and see how it can become your own, is so much better, because building a foundation is hard.
It takes longer.
It takes so much longer. Yeah. Honestly, I think that's why businesses close in the first 2 years, because their foundation is not strong. I believe we have been successful because our foundation was there. It was loose, very loose, but the little foundational pieces we got have been things we use to this day.
Yeah.
So I think the foundation, if you can find something with an existing foundation and start something new on top of that, it can really help. I think the other thing is you have to have good counsel around you. You have to get feedback from people, not people like the what if people, but also listen to those people too. Because the more cautious people will say things that you're like, oh yeah, we need to do that. Your risk takers will be like, go for it, do it. Don't hire a lawyer, don't hire an accountant, do it. But the what if people are like, what if you get sued and you don't have a lawyer? And so having both people is important in that. And then I don't know what a third tip would be, except realize when you were signing on for a while. Like you need to
The
say, you
investment
know
of
what?
time.
A business is not successful in the first 2 years. It's still a baby. And to have this expectation that your baby is going to be fully grown in 2 years is just not okay. I think you really got to be in a business for 5 years to really see, is this for you? And I think that's the commitment that we didn't realize in the beginning, how big of a commitment that is. Like, this business is a baby. It needs to be bottle fed. It needs to be changed. It needs to be loved on. It cannot be left alone without its parents, which is us. As much as you want to hire people or whatever, like, you are its parents.
Yeah.
And so I think realizing if you're going to do something like a restaurant or anything that's a little more like brick and mortar, you've got to be in there for 5 years for it to really work. I don't think you can cut. I don't think you can cut corners with that. I think you have to commit.
That's really good. I feel like I just hear people talk about the 2-year mark.
Yeah, there's definitely the 2-year mark. Say, I think that's your decision. Should we get out of it or not? Like, that's
but
probably
to see its full, like the fullest mark of its probable success could probably be 5 years.
Yes. Yeah, I think 2 years, you should have that moment of asking yourselves, are we digging ourselves a hole like that we can't get out of, or should we keep pushing?
Yeah, that's really good. And with you and Daniel and the tea room, like, y'all have given so many jobs to so many people.
Which is something I didn't think about
in our church.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like normally when we talk about church ministry, callings, vocations, whatever, you have like the missionaries and the preachers and the business owners that tithe and like whatever else. But I love that I've been able to see you guys, and I've benefited from it because my husband worked at the tea room. Like, literally bless Christian community so much with just the resource of being a business owner.
Yeah, and that was something that if you want to negotiate with God, this is a little risky move. But we said, well, for hiring people from church, God's going to provide for them. So in return, he provides for us, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, why would he have all these people in our business fail? Like, or like, why would our business fail if we're providing incomes for people? And we tested that theory, and it was interesting. But I've also seen God's faithfulness. And I also think we see this as a ministry. And so the people we hire treat it like a ministry.
I love that.
And that's been such a blessing. Also, I couldn't imagine hiring someone I never met.
Yeah.
I've not actually we've only hired one person that we had never met. And she's been wonderful. And she is a gift from God. But I don't know how people do it, hiring people you've never met. Like, just an application coming through the email that we have not done that yet.
Sense if you're a bigger, more transactional company, but in the tea room, y'all work so closely.
Yes.
Like, you're in this space, you're serving tea, you're together a lot. Like, I can.
So I don't know I don't have information on how to hire people you've never met. That is something we'll probably have to do one day, but we're trying to hire as much in our family. Like, we're I actually asked my dad if he wanted to work for Christmas as Scrooge.
I love
for Christmas Carol. He's not able to, but like, we'd rather hire within people we know. Because I don't know how you do that.
Okay, so does this go back into the principle? Me and Clarissa were talking about money the other day and buying houses and all the things. And one of the principles she was telling me that she believes that God blesses and lives by is like a concept about multiplying money. So tell us what that is.
Yes, I believe, and I've learned this the hardest way you could learn it. So being a business owner, first of all, we went through, in the 2 years of business, this horrible season where we had to close. We lost thousands of dollars. And that was just a nightmare that I never want to relive. But I'm also so thankful for the nightmare because we learned so much about our marriage and life and all this. But the multiplying money, I realized before all that happened, we were managing our money with the tea room, but we weren't looking for ways to multiply it.
What does that mean? By
multiplying is like, I love it. My friend Joe, who I met through Impact Junkie, he's awesome. He talks about dollar bills are like little soldiers. So he said, every dollar bill, I want you to imagine it's like a soldier going out to fight for you. And if you send your little soldier out, your little dollar bill or your dollar bills out, and it doesn't come back to you with something more or with a win or whatever, you've now just killed those soldiers.
Oh my goodness, what an
So
analogy.
like, he says you want to send out your little soldiers to go out and multiply what you've done. Like if you're working so hard for that $1 and you're sending it out and it's not working for you to reinvest it or multiply it or do multiple things that you need to get done, then you're not multiplying your money. And I think about God, how God will give you more if he knows you can, one, be good stewards of it, which we hear, but then when you really...
And the story of the talents is a great...
Yes, Matthew 25, which that was the center point of Impact Junkie. We told that story a lot. So I think about that story a lot. But if you're not learning how to multiply your money, God can't give you but so much more because he's just giving you little soldiers to die, essentially. And
so you didn't tell me about the little soldiers.
yes,
now my brain's
the little soldiers, that was a funny thing. And I just love that. So yeah, I just now have this new perspective that we have to think about ways to multiply our money. So when we were closed, it challenged us to think, okay, if we were closed forever, what would we do? So we started thinking, well, we could sell tea blends, or we could start a gift shop, or we were trying to think of other ways to make money that were just totally different that would multiply our efforts.
And to sustain you in that time of the unknown.
Yes, and to sustain us. And so, but yeah, I have definitely learned that I did not grow up being a good steward of my money. I'm not the example, but Daniel is a great steward of money, and God blesses him with money. Because he is such a good steward with his money. Yeah. And I believe we were blessed financially, not because I could manage money well, but because my husband could manage money well. And so when I leaned into that and said, because Daniel, he will be real quick to say, no, we're eating a sandwich at home.
My husband also with the sandwiches at home.
We have 8 hot dogs every day this week, because that's what we had.
Yeah.
And so, it's just funny. But I don't think
your money other ways, but you're trying to not kill the soldiers.
Not kill the soldiers, yeah. And I just, that perspective really just opened my eyes. And then I heard this recently. Honestly, I don't remember where I heard it, but it said, God commanded us to take dominion over the land. Part of taking dominion over the land is financial security. If we're commanded to go take dominion over the land, but we can't because we're in debt or whatever, not saying we're not in debt. We are in debt, and we paid off 3 credit cards, which is a big deal.
Praise God.
Because we went in debt really over that when we were closed for a little bit.
Season.
Yeah, and I heard that recently, and that really challenged me. I want to take dominion over the land. God commanded us to be fruitful and multiply. So multiplying is not just children, but also your money, your resources, everything you had. So that's been an interesting thing to learn.
That's such a godly principle.
But I just learned that this year. That is not something that I can tell you was a value of mine.
Even multiplying knowledge right now.
Yeah.
Look at that.
But it was like that, because I feel like you and I are similar this way. If you can tell us to do these things, it's be a good steward of your money. You're okay.
Thank you. Yes, check.
Yes, okay. I hear you. I know it's in the Bible, but I don't know what it looks like exactly. I think I know what it is.
Yeah.
It means not being homeless. Okay, great.
Yeah. Or being generous.
Yeah. And I feel like we do that well.
Yeah.
We're generous. We are, we would give someone whatever we'll pay for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't understand that. And I actually believe that's why there's people who are quote unquote billionaires or millionaires that have made it the right way, not the wrong way. That God keeps blessing them because they know how to multiply money that then gives people jobs, that then helps people.
Like the talent story.
It
always goes back.
Matthew 25, yeah. So I think when you realize they've learned the principles, even if they may not necessarily be following God, they are following godly principles.
Yeah.
And so that's something I learned in this season.
So I think we're almost out of time. I could ask you so many more things. I wanted to talk to you about so much more. Maybe we'll do a second one. I'll just do 2 final questions. Is there a particular scripture or story from the Bible that's carrying you right now for you and your husband, for your life, for your marriage, for your hopes and dreams, for your business?
Yes. I don't know if I have mine.
And then
Look it up.
you know, like this whole podcast is basically because I have my Instagram page that used to be called You Glow Girl. So my like question is there anything you're doing in your health that has been successful for you? Any newly discovered beauty thing you're doing? Any last words of encouragement for your sisters in Christ?
I love that. I can't quote the scripture, but it is Psalms 113. And I'm going to give a little story for this.
Okay.
So 2 weeks before our business really closed down, maybe even a couple weeks before that, we were blessed to be on a Capital One like commercial for the tea room. So we sent our team out and they went to do this commercial, and I had this unique opportunity to go speak at this very little church. Not actually, it's a very big church, but very big church in a very small town. And I remember getting ready for everything for this commercial, and I saw an Eggland's Best Eggs truck.
Yes.
And they have the verse on it, Psalms 113, 103, that talks about like praising the name of the Lord. I remember like seeing that on the truck and looking that up, and I felt the Lord when I looked that up say, this is going to be the verse for your life right now. And I went to look at the chapter, and the chapter is talking about praising the name of the Lord. And then the last verse actually talks about you will have a baby, essentially. Like you will be a mom who has children or something. I can't quote it.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of a random verse in there. And Daniel and I have been navigating this like infertility journey. I don't like to say we're infertile because I think we are fertile, but challenge is to keep a baby.
Yeah.
And so challenge was with that. So long story short, saw the Eggland's Best truck, saw this verse, felt the Lord say, this is your verse for your season. Then the team that same like week was going on this commercial, went to Capital One, did this commercial, and I was going to this little church to go speak at their little Wednesday night. You know, nothing, I didn't know these people from Adam. Yeah. I didn't know. So I was speaking at this little church on a Wednesday night, and I think it's like their associate's pastor's daughter came up to me and she said, I have something for you. And she said, I got you a gift. And I opened the gift, and it's this picture of Psalms 113, 103. And it's a picture of a beach. And it's this verse quoted on it. It talks about praising the name of the Lord, basically no whatever season you're in. And I have held to that chapter, that verse, like praise the name of the Lord, no matter what, praise the name of the Lord, like praise the name of the Lord. And she gave me that, and I just started crying, and like, you don't understand, like this verse, mind you, I didn't even know the business was about to close. So then the business closes, and I remember like hanging that up in our room, and I see it every day. And I think about that verse a lot. But then just this past week, I went to a baby shower. And I was in the baby shower on Saturday, and I was like, baby showers are tough. Like, we love them. We celebrate them. But I was in a room. I was the only one not ever having children, even though I work with children all the time.
Yeah.
But they're sharing stories and stuff and like encouraging this mom. And I'm like, God, you've promised us so many times we're going to have a baby. Like, what is this? You know, like this little season and it's so hard, you know? And, oh gosh, I'm going to cry.
But it's okay, we cry here. It's for women.
But as I was leaving, the mom who was there, about to have her baby in a couple weeks, her mom has come from France. She's a beautiful woman of God. She's actually a pastor out in France. And she's just a beautiful woman, this beautiful French accent, you know, and she speaks like English and French interchangeably, and it just sounds heavenly, you know. When someone tells you merci, I can't even say it. Merci. Like that just, we should all say that.
Yeah.
And she said, I just really felt like I need to pray for you. And everyone had left. And mind you, I needed to be back at the tea room at a certain time. And I was like, okay. She prayed a long prayer. It was so beautiful.
Oh,
and then at the end, she says, I woke up this morning and I was reading Psalms 113. And she said, I feel like I'm meant to tell you that. Like I was reading that. And she said, I was reading it because I was feeling from the Lord that to tell you that you're going to have a baby. Like it's going to be okay. And so that's my scripture.
Praise God. I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's my scripture because the Lord keeps bringing it up. It's not because I'm like,
no,
he chooses those things for us, and I love that.
God is sweet.
Yes, he is.
And he's really good at reminding us when we're hanging on to a promise.
Yes.
Because it's hard to hang on to a promise.
Yes, it is.
The waiting season sucks. just across the board for whatever you're praying for, whatever you're waiting for.
It's very hard.
It is hard. And, you know, there is a part of us that will always be waiting. And my sister-in-law told me this, and I feel like it was life-changing for me. But basically that we're always waiting for the Lord to come back. We're always, it's just a part of our inheritance as Christians right now. Like, we're just waiting all the time. So this like completeness that you think you're going to feel in this lifetime, if you get everything that you want or everything you're praying for, it's still not going to be everything, because we're waiting on Jesus. We're waiting to be one with our Maker. And so these little things that we wait on in this life is like little practice rounds, kind of.
I love that.
To trust God and to wait for the good things, to believe the word. And this is why you have to be hearing from the Lord. When you think you see something that might be a little sign, like,
that's so good.
Ask God, Lord, is this from you? Because God is winking at us all the time.
I love that.
But sometimes it's just the crazy faith people that are like, I know that that egg carton was from the Lord. And sometimes in our more practical flesh, we're like, that couldn't have been a sign. But God is like winking and he's waving and he's like, no, look for me. I'm looking for you. I'm talking to you. Listen. And of course you pray, and we don't follow just any random sign. But God is sweet to us, and he knows the desires of our hearts, and he knows the things that we're going to sleep at night, the heavy things.
Yes.
And he wants us to keep believing, because when you have that faith, you're being obedient. It's impossible to please God without faith. So you are stretching your obedient muscle, saying, the Lord hasn't done this yet. It's been longer than I thought. It's getting harder. It's looking more impossible. I'm getting older. I've dated all the guys. I've done all the testing, whatever. Like, you're stretching that faith muscle because you're saying, I want to please God. And because I want to please God, I'm going to be obedient. I'm going to look for the Lord. I'm going to look for the winks. And then I'm going to hang on for the wild ride. And when God brings you these little prophets or however, like, you're clinging to that.
Yes.
And God is just good and loves us, and he does that.
And we do trust his timing. Like, it is a timing thing, and I recognize that. And I think it's not a game we play, it's timing.
Yes, and you trust God's version of the story.
Yeah, ooh, that's good.
I really, really struggle with this in my own life. I feel like I can calculate all of the things that could happen based on decisions that I make. Nathan jokes with me all the time. Do you think you're all-knowing? That's what he says. Do you think you're the eyes of God?
We probably...
And I don't really think that.
At 18, we probably thought that.
But I can calculate, like, okay, if I get this job, these are going to be the things I run into. These are going to be the problems. Like, I'm like a forecaster. If this happens, I know that so-and-so thinks like this. This is their personality. This is going to be the challenge. I know, like, just maybe a little predictor. And I'm not wrong all the time, which is why I think it's
like our intuition is
I'm
good.
actually right. And these things do happen, or like these feelings I get are true. And I think God has given me, like, I don't want to say like a gift, but I feel like the Lord has given me maybe sometimes discernment or like emotional intelligence to see something, to pick up on something.
But then we got to learn what to do with it. And that's the tough part.
And that we don't always get it 100%.
Yeah.
So, like, in my life, I've learned this a million ways, and you're walking this out, and I know that you know this, but your version of what the story will look like probably isn't going to be the version. It's probably not going to be the whole thing, and it's probably not going to be as good as whatever God's writing for you. So, sure, it could look typical that Clarissa and Daniel get married. They do the married people thing, and then there's babies, and that's it. And that looks like a normal story. But God's writing their story right now. And right now it's got a tea room. It's got layoffs.
It's got a baby tea room.
Yes, it's got baby showers to go celebrate. It's got all these things. But God is getting them on their journey and their story to where one day we're going to be celebrating at Clarissa's baby shower and whatever that looks like. And I'm here for that. I'm in the third of the pie of your friends that I don't care. I just believe with you.
Yes. Amen. And you really are that person. Well, and I know we're running low on time, but I will share the You Glow Girl.
Okay. Yes.
So
tell me how you glow, girl.
Yes. How I glow, girl, is I don't like to say that I have ADHD, but I have problems with it. keeping on
You have
task.
high energy.
Yes.
Hard to focus.
Hard to focus. And so right now in my season, and this is by my loving husband giving me this advice, focus on one thing.
It's the most basic advice, but
It's basic, but it's very hard.
Yeah.
So like this morning, like making my eggs and my toast and whatever, I used to like make toast, wash dishes, and do all these a million things. And honestly, I don't get it done any faster. Today, like, it's just an example. I was like, I'm just going to make the toast. If I have a little extra time, I'm just going to stand there and enjoy this time, like be in the moment. And I realize that that's probably a very unhealthy way to live because I think it causes stress if I try to do too many things, and then your cortisol levels go up, and there's a very biological response when you're trying to think too much.
Awful for your health.
Yes,
overall.
cortisol. They say it gains weight here, and that's where I have weight.
Yeah.
So I have weight other places, but I definitely have it there. So I really am trying to manage how I do this because how I focus really affects the biology of my body.
Yes.
So that's one thing. The other thing is I have been faithful on taking supplements since May. Just keep it short, but like in May we had a miscarriage and I was going to the gym and doing all the things. And yes, I need to be exercising and all that. We've had a very busy summer where I've been moving like crazy, but I started really taking supplements every day, which I usually can only last a month and then I like get sidetracked and forget. But this whole summer, I've not gotten sick. So I've not gotten a cold or I've not had to be in bed because I'm sick. I've not been like, even though I'm overly tired sometimes, I'm not like sick from it.
So your immune system and your energy is tracking.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm really thankful for that because I did get sick a lot because we work with the general public. And so you deal with sickness a lot. So I've been really thankful this summer. I have been really good on not getting sick. And I think that is good for
that's awesome.
my health. Like I would get sick a lot and recovering when you get sick and then you want chips.
Do you have a favorite supplement brand?
No, I just get the one from
just get
Target.
what you need.
Yeah. I've realized I've just had to just be affordable to an extent.
Sure.
But yeah, I've just been doing that and I think that's been really helping.
That's great. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. And then the tea room, if you're around Richmond, you've got to make an appointment. Clarissa's going to give me a promo code.
Yes.
That you can use and I'll link it. And we hope that you've enjoyed this podcast. We hope you come to the tea room. It's really, really fabulous all the time. But around the holidays, if you celebrate, it's a really special, beautiful thing. Yes. And the tea's great. And the gift shop is beautiful. You could get all of your gifts there. And we just hope that you're encouraged. Thank you, Clarissa, for being my guest and for letting me use your space.
Yes, and we support Miranda. Listen to the first podcast. It was excellent. And thank you. It was a great day.
Have a great day.
Thank you.